Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that might not be easy to hear, but is necessary to understand the value of walking away. Too many of us waste time chasing things that aren't meant for us, especially relationships, especially people. Your time, energy, and love are the most valuable resources you possess. Yet many people give them away without truly understanding their worth. They pour themselves into others who don't appreciate them, who take them for granted, or who only show up when it's convenient. When you don't recognize the value of what you bring to the table, you leave it up to others to decide, and often they undervalue it. That's why it's so important to start with yourself. You must understand that what you offer, who you are, and the effort you put into relationships are priceless. People who don't see your worth aren't a reflection of you, they're a reflection of their own inability to value what's in front of them. It's not your job to convince anyone of your importance. The moment you start pleading for someone's attention or proving your significance, you've already lost. Why? Because love, respect, and appreciation cannot be demanded, they have to be freely given. And if they're not given freely, they're not real. When you value yourself, you stop looking for external validation. You no longer seek approval from others to feel complete or worthy. You realize that you are already enough. You don't need someone else to tell you you're deserving of love, respect, or attention, because you already know it. And when you carry yourself with that level of confidence, it shows. People can sense it. You don't have to say a word, and they'll know you're someone who respects themselves and commands respect in return. But this isn't just about confidence, it's about boundaries. When you value yourself, you naturally set limits on what you'll tolerate. You no longer accept crumbs when you deserve the whole loaf. You no longer allow people to come in and out of your life as they please, treating your time and energy like they're disposable. You become intentional about who you let into your world, because you understand that not everyone deserves access to you. Think about it. Would you give away something precious to someone who doesn't appreciate it? Imagine owning a rare diamond. Would you hand it over to someone who doesn't see its value, someone who tosses it around carelessly or forgets it's even there? Of course not. So why do we treat our time, our love, and our energy any differently? They're just as rare and just as valuable, if not more so. When you don't value yourself, you open the door for others to mistreat you. You send the message that you're willing to accept less than you deserve. And trust me, there will always be people who are more than happy to take advantage of that. But when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you attract people who are willing to meet you there. You create an environment where respect is the foundation of every interaction because you demand nothing less. Valuing yourself also means recognizing when it's time to walk away. This is one of the hardest lessons to learn, but it's also one of the most powerful. Sometimes we stay in situations that don't serve us because we're afraid of being alone. We tell ourselves that it's better to have anyone than to have no one at all. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Being alone isn't a sign of weakness, it's an opportunity to strengthen your relationship with yourself. It's a chance to focus on your growth, your goals, and your happiness without distractions. When you truly value yourself, you're no longer afraid of solitude. You'd rather stand alone in your integrity than compromise your worth for the sake of company. And this shift in mindset is transformative. It changes the way you interact with the world. You're no longer driven by a need to please others or seek their approval. Instead, you're guided by your own sense of purpose and self-respect. But valuing yourself isn't just a mindset, it's a practice. It's something you have to work on daily. It's in the way you talk to yourself, the way you care for yourself, and the way you allow others to treat you. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. even when it's uncomfortable. It's about walking away from situations that don't align with your worth, even when it's hard. It's about choosing yourself every single time, no matter what. And let me tell you, this isn't easy. There will be times when you doubt yourself, when you question whether you're asking for too much or expecting too much. There will be moments when walking away feels like a loss. But remember, it's not a loss, it's a gain. Every time you choose yourself, you're affirming your value. Every time you set a boundary, you're teaching others how to treat you. Every time you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you're making room for what does. When you value yourself, you don't just elevate your own life, you elevate the lives of those around you. You set an example of what self-respect looks like. You show others that it's okay to demand more, to expect better, and to settle for nothing less than what you deserve. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Take a moment and reflect. Are you treating your time, your energy, and your love like the rare and precious resources they are? Are you giving them to people who appreciate them, or are you wasting them on people who don't? The answer to these questions will tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you're valuing yourself. When you stop chasing people, you begin to realize the incredible power of alignment. Chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught, doesn't see your value, or isn't interested in reciprocating your effort is draining. It's an endless cycle that leaves you exhausted, frustrated, and questioning your worth. But when you let go of that chase, everything changes. You shift your energy from desperation to self-assurance, from seeking validation to knowing your value. And in that shift, you begin to attract the right things, the right people, and the right opportunities. Chasing stems from a place of lack. It's rooted in the idea that you need something outside of yourself to feel whole or complete. Whether it's a person's love, attention, or approval, the chase becomes a quest to fill a void. But here's the truth: nothing external can fill what's missing internally. No relationship, no recognition, no amount of affection from someone else will ever be enough if you don't first find that fulfillment within yourself. When you stop chasing, you start to see yourself clearly. You start to understand that you don't need to run after what's meant for you. What's truly meant for you will come to you naturally, effortlessly, and without games. It doesn't mean you won't have to put in effort, but the effort will feel balanced. It will feel mutual. It won't feel like a one-sided pursuit where you're constantly questioning your worth or trying to prove it. Imagine the energy you waste chasing someone who doesn't appreciate you. Every call, every message, every attempt to get their attention, it's all energy you could be using to better yourself. Instead of pouring your resources into someone who doesn't reciprocate, imagine directing that energy toward your growth, your goals, and your passions. Imagine what you could accomplish if you stopped looking outward and started looking inward. When you stop chasing, you give yourself permission to focus on what truly matters. You create space for self-improvement, for discovering who you are, and for building the life you want. This shift in focus is powerful because it changes your mindset. Instead of feeling like you need someone else to complete you, you realize that you're already whole. You realize that your happiness, your success, and your fulfillment don't depend on anyone else, they depend on you. This transformation doesn't just impact your relationship with yourself, it changes the way others perceive you. When you're no longer chasing, you exude confidence, self-respect, and independence. You become magnetic. People are drawn to you because they sense that you're not desperate for their approval. They see that you're secure in who you are, and that kind of security is incredibly attractive. Attracting doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for life to come to you. It means aligning yourself with your purpose and living in a way that reflects your values. It means being intentional about the energy you put out into the world, because that energy determines what you attract. When you're desperate, you attract chaos. When you're confident, you attract peace. When you're focused on your goals, you attract opportunities. Letting go of the chase also teaches you patience. It's not easy to trust that what's meant for you will come in its own time. We're often so caught up in the need for instant gratification that we forget the beauty of timing. But when you stop chasing, you learn to trust the process. You learn to have faith that what's meant for you won't miss you. And in that trust, you find peace. There's a certain freedom that comes with no longer chasing. You free yourself from the stress of constantly trying to prove your worth. You free yourself from the pain of unreciprocated effort. You free yourself from the cycle of seeking validation from others. And in that freedom, you find your power. This freedom doesn't mean you stop caring about relationships or connections. It simply means you approach them differently. Instead of chasing, you show up as your authentic self and let things unfold naturally. You're no longer trying to fit into someone else's expectations or mold yourself into what you think they want. You're simply being you and trusting that the right people will see and appreciate you for exactly who you are. The beauty of stopping the chase is that it creates space for genuine connections. When you're no longer focused on pursuing people who aren't interested, you open yourself up to those who are. You begin to attract people who value your presence, respect your boundaries, and see your worth without you having to prove it. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your energy, your time, and your power. You stop giving away pieces of yourself to people who don't deserve them. You stop settling for less than you deserve. And you start building a life that reflects your worth, your values, and your dreams. The right people will meet you on that path not because you chased them, but because you attracted them by being unapologetically yourself. Real connections thrive on mutual effort, respect, and understanding. When you find yourself in a relationship where one person is doing all the work, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, it creates an imbalance that weakens the foundation. Relationships aren't supposed to feel like a job where one person is constantly chasing, compromising, and giving while the other sits back, taking it all in without reciprocation. That imbalance is not sustainable, and it certainly doesn't nurture the kind of connection that grows and flourishes over time. A healthy connection is a two-way street. It's not just about what you bring to the table, it's also about what the other person is willing to offer in return. You shouldn't have to beg for someone's attention or their time. If someone is truly interested in you, whether it's a friend, a partner, or anyone else, they'll show it through their actions. Words are nice, but actions are what solidify real connections. They'll make time for you, they'll invest in you, and they'll do so willingly, not because you force them, but because they genuinely value your presence in their life. When you're in a relationship where the connection isn't mutual, it often leads to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and self-doubt. You start questioning your worth, wondering if you're asking for too much or if you're somehow not enough. But the reality is, you're not asking for too much, you're asking the wrong person. If someone truly cares about you, they'll want to meet your efforts halfway. You shouldn't have to carry the weight of the relationship on your own. It's important to understand that a lack of reciprocity isn't always about you. Sometimes people simply don't have the capacity to give what you need. They might be dealing with their own issues, or they might not be in a place where they're ready to invest in a relationship. But regardless of the reason, it's not your responsibility to fix them, carry them, or wait for them to figure it out. You deserve to be in relationships where the energy and effort flow both ways, where you feel seen, heard, and valued. The beauty of mutual connections is that they bring out the best in both people. When someone values you as much as you value them, it creates a dynamic where both individuals feel supported and empowered. You're not competing for attention or validation. Instead, you're working together to build something meaningful. There's a natural rhythm to the relationship that feels effortless because both people are equally invested. This kind of connection doesn't happen by accident. It requires both people to be intentional about their actions and to communicate openly. It's about setting clear boundaries and expectations and respecting each other's needs and desires. It's about listening, really listening, and making the effort to understand where the other person is coming from. And it's about showing up consistently even when it's inconvenient or challenging. But here's the thing: you can't force someone to meet you halfway. You can't make someone value you, no matter how much you care about them or how hard you try. If you're the only one putting in effort, it's not a partnership, it's a one-sided dynamic that will eventually leave you feeling depleted. It's not your job to carry the relationship alone, and it's certainly not your job to convince someone of your worth. When a connection is mutual, you won't have to question it. You won't have to wonder if they care or if you matter to them, because they'll make it abundantly clear through their actions. They'll prioritize you, they'll support you, and they'll make an effort to be a consistent presence in your life. And you'll do the same for them, not out of obligation, but because you genuinely want to. Mutual effort doesn't mean everything is always equal. There will be times when one person gives more because the other is going through a tough time. That's part of any healthy relationship. But over time, the balance should even out. Both people should feel like their needs are being met and that their contributions are valued. It's worth taking the time to reflect on the relationships in your life and ask yourself whether they're truly mutual. Are you constantly giving while the other person is taking? Are you chasing after someone who doesn't seem interested in meeting you halfway? If the answer is yes, it might be time to reevaluate that connection. It's not about blaming the other person, it's about recognizing what you deserve and being willing to walk away from relationships that don't serve you. Real connections are worth waiting for. They don't require you to compromise your self-worth or to settle for less than you deserve. They don't leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, or undervalued. Instead, they uplift you, inspire you, and remind you of your own strength and worth. And when you find those kinds of connections, they're worth every bit of effort because they give back just as much as they take. Walking away is one of the most powerful choices you can make in your life. It's not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength, clarity, and self-respect. In relationships, it's easy to fall into the trap of staying longer than you should, hoping things will change or believing you can fix what's broken. But sometimes the best way to protect your peace and preserve your dignity is to step away from situations that no longer serve you. It's not an easy decision, but it's often the most necessary one. When you walk away, you're sending a clear message to others and to yourself. You're saying, I know my worth, and I refuse to settle for less. This act of choosing yourself over someone who doesn't value you is a profound declaration of self-love. It's recognizing that staying in a situation where you're not respected, appreciated, or valued only chips away at your confidence and happiness. You deserve better, and walking away is the first step toward finding it. One of the most common reasons people struggle to walk away is the fear of being alone. There's a deep-seated societal notion that being in a relationship, any relationship, is better than being by yourself. But this belief is flawed. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely, it means you're giving yourself the space to heal, grow, and discover who you are outside of the relationship. It's an opportunity to focus on yourself, your goals, and your happiness without the weight of a toxic or unfulfilling connection dragging you down. Walking away is also an act of courage. It's scary to leave behind what's familiar, even when it's hurting you. There's a comfort in routine, in knowing what to expect, even if those expectations include pain or disappointment. But staying in a situation that doesn't align with your values or needs only keeps you stuck. It prevents you from experiencing the growth and freedom that come from letting go. When you muster the courage to walk away, you're choosing uncertainty over unhappiness, a leap of faith that opens the door to new possibilities. It's important to understand that walking away doesn't mean you don't care about the other person. It doesn't mean you're giving up or that you failed. It simply means you've reached a point where you recognize that the relationship is no longer serving either of you. Staying in a situation where there's no mutual respect or effort only breeds resentment and conflict. Walking away allows you to preserve the good memories while acknowledging that it's time to move forward. Another reason walking away is so powerful is that it sets a precedent for how others treat you. When you stay in a relationship where you're not valued, you're indirectly teaching others that it's okay to take you for granted. But when you walk away, you're drawing a line in the sand. You're making it clear that your time, energy, and emotions are not to be wasted. This act of self-respect not only changes how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. It's a reminder that you deserve relationships built on mutual respect, effort, and care. Walking away can also be a catalyst for personal growth. It forces you to confront your fears, insecurities, and patterns of behavior. Why did you stay as long as you did? What were you hoping to gain? These are tough questions, but they're necessary for healing and growth. By walking away, you're giving yourself the chance to break free from unhealthy cycles and create a healthier, more fulfilling future. It's worth noting that walking away doesn't have to be dramatic or confrontational. It doesn't require yelling, accusations, or a grand exit. Sometimes the most powerful way to walk away is quietly and gracefully. You don't need to explain yourself to people who don't value you. Your actions speak louder than words. By removing yourself from the situation, you're showing that you value your peace and happiness more than anything else. The aftermath of walking away can be challenging. You might second-guess your decision or feel a sense of loss. That's normal. It's okay to mourn the end of a relationship, even if it wasn't a healthy one. But over time, you'll start to see the benefits of your choice. You'll feel lighter, freer, and more in tune with yourself. You'll have the energy to invest in things that truly matter to you, whether it's your career, hobbies, friendships, or personal development. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about letting go. Letting go of what no longer serves you, letting go of the pain, and letting go of the idea that you need someone else to complete you. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing to build a life that aligns with your values and goals. It's about trusting that better things are ahead, even if you can't see them yet. Walking away is an act of faith in yourself, in your worth, and in the belief that you deserve better. It's a reminder that you are not defined by your relationships, but by how you choose to navigate them. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. Respect is a cornerstone of any healthy and meaningful relationship. Without it, no matter how much love, effort, or passion exists, the foundation will always be shaky. When you respect yourself, you set the standard for how others should treat you. It's not about demanding anything or trying to control someone's behavior. It's about understanding your worth and making it clear through your actions and boundaries. that you won't accept anything less than what you deserve. Respect starts from within. It's rooted in how you view yourself, how you treat yourself, and what you believe you're worthy of. When you truly respect yourself, you naturally command respect from others because they see how you carry yourself, how you value your time, and how you prioritize your well-being. But if you don't respect yourself, it opens the door for others to treat you poorly because consciously or unconsciously, you've shown them that you're willing to accept less. People often mirror the energy you project, and self-respect is the energy that sets the tone for healthy, reciprocal relationships. The challenge many people face is the fear of losing someone if they enforce boundaries or demand respect. There's a belief that compromising on self-respect might keep a relationship intact. But the truth is, a relationship without mutual respect is already broken. When you lower your standards or tolerate disrespect, it only chips away at your self-esteem and invites more of the same behavior. Disrespect doesn't magically resolve itself, it grows. The longer it's allowed to fester, the harder it becomes to reestablish the respect that should have been there from the beginning. Respecting yourself means being clear about your boundaries and standing firm when they're tested. It's about knowing what you will and won't tolerate, and having the courage to walk away when those lines are crossed. Boundaries aren't about controlling others, they're about protecting yourself. They communicate to others that you value yourself enough to demand healthy interactions and to remove yourself from situations where those standards aren't met. When someone truly values and respects you, they won't make you beg for their time, attention, or effort. They won't take advantage of your kindness or dismiss your feelings. Instead, they'll honor your boundaries and make a genuine effort to meet your needs because they understand that respect is the foundation of trust, love, and connection. On the other hand, if someone is constantly testing or disregarding your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they don't value you in the way you deserve. One of the most powerful ways to command respect is by respecting others. This doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior or staying silent when someone crosses a line. It means treating others with the same dignity and consideration that you expect in return. Respect is a two-way street, and when you demonstrate it, you're not only setting the tone for how you wish to be treated, but you're also creating an environment where mutual respect can thrive. However, respect is not something you can demand from someone who doesn't value it. It must come from a genuine place within them, just as it does from within you. If someone isn't capable of respecting you, no amount of pleading, compromising, or enduring their behavior will change that. In such cases, the most respectful thing you can do for yourself and for them is to walk away. Staying in a situation where respect is absent only perpetuates the cycle of mistreatment and diminishes your sense of self-worth. Self-respect also involves recognizing your own flaws and working to improve them. It's not about being perfect, it's about striving to be the best version of yourself while acknowledging your humanity. When you take accountability for your actions and commit to personal growth, you not only gain self-respect, but also earn the respect of those around you. People are drawn to those who hold themselves to high standards, not in a way that's rigid or self-righteous, but in a way that reflects a commitment to integrity and authenticity. Respect in relationships doesn't mean there won't be disagreements or conflicts. Those are inevitable in any human connection. What matters is how those conflicts are handled. When respect is present, disagreements are approached with empathy, patience, and a willingness to understand the other person's perspective. Without respect, conflicts often devolve into blame, manipulation, or outright hostility, leaving both parties feeling hurt and misunderstood. It's worth noting that respect doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. It's equally important in friendships, family dynamics, and professional interactions. Whether it's a colleague, a sibling, or a partner, the principles of mutual respect remain the same. When you carry yourself with self-respect and extend that respect to others, you naturally attract people who share those values and are willing to invest in healthy, balanced relationships. Respect is about recognizing your inherent worth and refusing to settle for anything that undermines it. It's about honoring yourself enough to demand better, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. And it's about understanding that the relationships worth keeping are the ones where respect flows freely, reciprocally, and without question. Choosing peace over chaos is a transformative decision that redefines your life and the relationships you allow into it. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, it's the presence of clarity, balance, and self-awareness. It's a state of being where you can breathe, reflect, and move forward without the constant weight of drama or negativity. Too often, people remain in situations that disrupt their peace because they fear change, confrontation, or loneliness. But the truth is, choosing peace means prioritizing your well-being and emotional health above everything else. When you make peace your priority, you learn to identify the sources of chaos in your life. These may be relationships filled with unnecessary conflict, patterns of behavior that lead to stress, or even environments that drain your energy. The first step in choosing peace is becoming aware of what disrupts it. Sometimes these sources of chaos are obvious, like a toxic relationship or a manipulative person. Other times they're subtle, like unspoken expectations or lingering resentment. Regardless of the source, recognizing it is crucial because you can't address what you're unwilling to acknowledge. Choosing peace doesn't mean avoiding conflict at all costs. It means addressing issues with honesty and intention rather than allowing them to spiral out of control. People who value peace understand that unresolved conflicts fester, turning small misunderstandings into larger issues that disrupt harmony. By dealing with problems directly and with grace, you maintain your integrity while minimizing unnecessary drama. This doesn't mean every situation will end amicably, but it does mean you've done your part to keep the interaction as peaceful as possible. Sometimes choosing peace requires letting go of people or situations that you once cherished. This is one of the hardest decisions to make because it often involves walking away from familiar patterns and stepping into the unknown. But when a relationship continually drains your energy, causes you pain, or prevents you from growing, it's a sign that it's time to move on. Letting go isn't about abandoning others, it's about refusing to abandon yourself. By releasing what no longer aligns with your values and needs, you create space for relationships and experiences that nurture your peace. Choosing peace also means setting boundaries and enforcing them consistently. Boundaries aren't about controlling others, they're about defining what you will and won't accept in your life. They communicate to others how you expect to be treated and what behaviors you won't tolerate. When you establish clear boundaries, you protect your peace by creating a buffer between you and the chaos that others might bring. Enforcing these boundaries can be challenging, especially with people who are used to crossing them, but standing firm is essential to maintaining your emotional health. One of the most profound aspects of choosing peace is the realization that not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the best response to provocation is no response at all. Walking away from arguments, refusing to engage in gossip, or declining to participate in drama are all acts of self-preservation. These choices don't make you weak or indifferent, they make you wise. You understand that your energy is finite, and wasting it on situations that don't serve your well-being is a disservice to yourself. Choosing peace also involves cultivating a mindset of forgiveness and letting go of grudges. Holding on to anger or resentment only prolongs the chaos in your mind and heart. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning bad behavior or forgetting the lessons you've learned. It means releasing the hold that the past has on you. When you forgive, you're not excusing the harm done to you. You're choosing to free yourself from its weight. This act of release is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your peace. Peace isn't something that just happens to you. It's a choice you make every day. It's in the way you respond to challenges, the people you surround yourself with, and the thoughts you allow to occupy your mind. It's about practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and self-compassion, even when life gets difficult. By consistently choosing peace, you build resilience and create a foundation of inner strength that carries you through life's ups and downs. One of the unexpected benefits of prioritizing peace is the clarity it brings. When your mind isn't clouded by chaos or negativity, you can see situations for what they truly are. You can make decisions with confidence, knowing that they align with your values and goals. This clarity extends to your relationships as well. When you operate from a place of peace, you attract people who share your mindset and are willing to contribute to your harmony rather than disrupt it. Choosing peace is an act of self-love. It's acknowledging that your well-being matters and taking the necessary steps to protect it. It's about valuing your time, energy, and emotional health enough to walk away from anything that compromises them. While the journey to peace isn't always easy, it's one of the most rewarding paths you can take. By choosing peace, you choose yourself, and that's a decision that will always serve you well.